Raditz appearing on Earth was used as a short-lived introduction to the reality that there are things going on out there in space that the Dragon Team was fully unaware of. In that short amount of time, he humiliated Krillin and Goku, took Gohan, and fled the scene in order to be fought at a different location. But what would have happened if he had stuck around there? A change in venue, along with one small change where Krillin didn't die against Tambourine, led to a massively different story that we're continuing today of What If Raditz fought Goku at Kame House. Before I continue, if you're new to this channel, part 1 is right above my head. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It helps the channel out immensely. And leave some suggestions in the comments below, whether it be for this What If or a new What If you'd like me to explore. In our last part, we saw an epic battle between Piccolo and Cooler. It turned out Piccolo had been training quite a bit and mastering techniques along with combining existing ones that he had lost when he had achieved his ultimate form. Cooler's confidence was quickly whisked away, where his outdated memories of how strong Piccolo was were proven to be false. Piccolo knocked him clear across the planet and took him within an inch of his life, but before he managed to finish him off, Cumber intervened, promptly ripping off his entire arm. He managed to escape and warned the Dragon Team about what was going on, and Whis promised to search around for more Saiyans to help them in their fight. But will that yield any results? That and more, we'll find out now. About a week had passed since they had left Beerus' planet, and they were growing very impatient. Where the heck was Cooler at? And everyone else? Why hadn't they been invaded yet? It seemed like something that Cooler would want to get out of the way, right away. However, they sent signal to the Galactic Patrol, and Jaco was en route to give them any information he knew. He arrived at Capsule Corporation, where Piccolo, Krillin, and the other tactical minds of the Dragon Team were waiting. Everyone else was out training, constantly. You would think that the arrival of Jaco, the Galactic Super Elite, would garner more attention. Well, I suppose it is a thankless job, but I'm here to help. Jaco was putting on a brave face, but everyone could tell pretty easily that he didn't want to be there. He wanted to be far away from this before Cooler invaded. Just give us the information you have, and then you can scamper off to wherever in the galaxy you want to hide from this fight from. Ah! I resent that, Vegeta! Or should I say Prince Vegeta, wanted on several counts by the Galactic Patrol. Perhaps I should take you in? Earn a little bit of a prize and some heroism for myself? This put a smile on Vegeta's face for the first time since he had heard that Frieza had been revived. Oh yeah? You want to try it? No, I wouldn't want to embarrass you in front of your own wife. That sounds awfully rude, and I never want to get on Bulma's bad side. Anyway, on to the information. Jaco filled them in on a surprising amount of information they were fully unaware of. The most important being that Cooler wasn't making his way immediately to Earth. They had some time to prepare. Apparently, Frieza and King Cold were training to unlock their own golden forms. King Cold, before he had died, was probably on the cusp of it, but Frieza would most likely take around 4 months to achieve it. But that was just about where the good news ended. As it so turned out, they had some information about Cumber as well. His name is Cumber, an ancient Saiyan we found in the text archived in the Galactica Patrol records. And this Saiyan is built different. I don't know if they just made them differently back in the ancient days of Saiyans millions of years ago, but whew! He packs quite the punch. Apparently, the Super Saiyan God of back then didn't even stand a chance against him. I can personally attest to that. I know for a fact that I was a good deal stronger than Goku in his Super Saiyan God form when I took out Cooler, and I didn't even stand a chance. Not only could I not even react to him approaching me in time, but I had no defense against his attacks. About how much stronger than the Super Saiyan God would you consider yourself out right now, Piccolo? Well, I was in Kaioken times 3 when he attacked me, so I would say about 3 times as strong. Why? That buffoon Kakarot and myself both have the power to exceed it by 50 times now. Krillin, Piccolo, and Bulma were all shocked to hear this, but Gohan was relatively unfazed. This was of course because he knew exactly how they had achieved it. My father and Vegeta have both achieved a form well beyond Super Saiyan God. As it so turned out, they could stack Super Saiyan right on top of it, and get the 50 times boost from that. That being said, I wouldn't take this threat lightly, Vegeta. Mr. Piccolo, could you tell me, was he still in his base form when he attacked you? Piccolo thought for a moment, recalling the battle that took place. Well, yeah. Now that you mention it, his hair was still black. Nothing had seemed changed to him. I don't think he was anything beyond base form. Not regular Super Saiyan or anything. Now this snapped Vegeta back into reality. They had achieved a 50 times multiplier over the Super Saiyan God. Maybe that was enough to take on Cumber in his base state, but if his base state was all he had used, and he could achieve Super Saiyan or even greater, he could still be a massive threat. And that's even under the assumption that Super Saiyan Blue was even powerful enough to take him on at all. So Vegeta huffed a bit, but he did quiet down, and the team moved on from information to strategy. They cataloged all the people that they had at their disposal, ranging from wildly different power levels. Jaco also chimed in and mentioned the fact that some Galactic Patrol people had volunteered to help as well. With this being such a massive threat, and an opportunity to take out Frieza, King Cold, and Cooler, it wasn't something the Galactic Patrol could just set to the side. This was a massive opportunity for them. And as it so turned out, the Galactic Patrol hadn't been unfazed by Cooler's wrath. During the years that had followed, he had managed to pull the forces together and was pushing back against the Galactic Patrol. If they didn't intervene here, it could make all the difference in their work in the future. So Jaco promised a few troops along with their ace, someone named Miris, who was apparently insanely talented in the Galactic Patrol. The Dragon Team also wasn't coming up short on names. They had already done the rounds and talked to pretty much anyone that could possibly help, and everyone agreed without hesitation. Even Android 17, with Android 16 promising to watch the island for him, promised to join into the battle. Even the likes of Verkum said that he would help out. And he was being a little odd lately. He was overly excited about this invasion. At first, they kinda wondered if it was because he was going to turn coat on them, but they sensed no malicious intent. But he did have a frog with him, and they seemed inseparable. Odd, but they'd take it. It seemed like they were in good shape for numbers, and more could be on the way if Whis found any additional Saiyans to help out. But for that, only time would tell. And speaking of additional Saiyans, Whis was certainly on the hunt. He actually had just arrived to Vampa with another Saiyan in tow, Tarble. And the first Saiyan they encountered was Paragus, who immediately recognized Tarble as part of Vegeta's bloodline. He was enraged by this, and called his son over to attack. Broly showed up, enraged and immediately swinging. However, Whis wasn't putting up with this. With a quick tap on Broly's head from Whis' staff, the anger subsided and Broly fell asleep. Paragus was nothing short of astounded and even more enraged by this, but Whis was only interested in talking, and he forced Paragus to sit down and listen to him. I'm afraid I didn't even catch your name yet and you're already trying to kill me? That seems awfully rude. Now, whether you harbor resentment against Vegeta's bloodline or not is frankly irrelevant. I'm sure, given your age, it must be about the father, and you'll be happy to know that he's perished years ago. All that's left are his two sons, and I'm afraid I cannot allow you to kill them right now. So, I have a proposition for you. We have more important things at hand. Do you want to get off this miserable rock, or would you prefer to stay here, loathing in your self-sorrow for the rest of eternity? Because, I'll have you know, I can make you remain here for the rest of eternity. You may be aging rapidly, but I can put a stop to that right now. Whis' voice came off as so polite, and yet threatening at the same time. Paragus was taken aback by this, and he looked down at his hands. They were starting to wrinkle. He was aging so rapidly. Was this how his tenure as a Saiyan was going to end? Dying on a rock, alone? Given how powerful this person was, he was probably going to take Broly regardless. So, he went ahead and gave in to Whis' suggestions. Fantastic! Now, I have a bit of a present for you. And with that, Whis tapped Paragus on the head, and suddenly, his youth was restored. I really have no use for you as an elderly Saiyan, and I'm not supposed to interfere with mortal affairs. That being said, I can restore the youth of a Saiyan, and the upcoming fight might go a little easier. He also walked over to Broly and removed the shock collar. Paragus tried to protest, but Whis assured him that he could clearly control any anger outburst that he has. This was no way to treat his son. Now that we have that out of the way, I believe I've located even more Saiyans. Come, it's time to go. Paragus was elated. It turned out, Whis was telling the truth. For a brief moment there, he wondered if his youth was restored just for him to suffer alone. But the joy that came over him when he realized that he wasn't going to have to spend another minute on this miserable rock was certainly breathtaking for him. and he definitely kept it in mind as well. The four of them took their leave, heading for the next destination of Saiyans. In another part of the galaxy, the Cold family was training vigorously. Even Cooler was in on it, not wanting to be passed up by the likes of Piccolo again. Cumber watched on in amusement, believing himself to be far above any of the three of them. Frankly, he knew that he could kill all three of them combined if he really needed to. But it was noteworthy how rapidly they gained power. Whatever it was about their physiology, it somehow came out to be superior to the Zenkai boost that the Saiyans had. It was something that he needed to keep his eye on, and he figured that when they grew stronger he would join in training alongside them, just to scope out their powers and learn their techniques, how they fight, just in case he needs to put them down in the future. Some time passed, and surely enough, King Cold unlocked his golden form. He wasn't far behind Cooler, but he hadn't had it before he had died. This was finally his opportunity to achieve what he had seen his son get years ago. And it seemed as though the resentment he was harboring against Cooler disappeared when he unlocked this form. Finally, he felt on par to his son again, and even though his son had left him to die, he could admit that he would have done the same. The only one of the three left without the golden form now was Frieza, but he was playing the catch-up game quickly, to the surprise and anger of Cooler. It seemed as though his brother was going to catch him, and even surpass him with time. Cooler didn't want to lose the power that he had gained. However, he knew for a fact that if he let those Saiyans stick around, it was going to be a problem in the long run. He needed Frieza in order to accomplish this. So, to his own disdain, he bit his tongue and went ahead and kept training with Frieza, knowing that he would be surpassed eventually. But back on Earth, Vegeta had one more thing to mention. As everybody was getting ready to take their leave from the meeting, he had something in mind that he needed to get off his chest, and a proposal that could possibly keep Earth safe. Everyone wait! The scale of this battle is going to lead to far too much collateral damage. We can't allow it. Plus, if a single stray shot hits Dende, our Dragon Balls could be gone. With Namex out of commission, we can't afford that. I have an alternate proposal. Years ago, I actually brought back Planet Vegeta. I used Namex Dragon Balls to do it, and right now, for all I know, it's just a vacant planet. We should lure them there and have our forces fight them. Frankly, it's fitting. You did what? I can't even begin to express how many regulations this breaks, Vegeta. You make it harder and harder for me not to bring you in every day. Jocko, with all due respect, shut up. This is a great plan. Jeesh, I never thought I'd be defending Vegeta's ideas so fervently. What a world. Well, yes, we did find that on our radar a while ago. It seems as though that planet's been vacant the entire time. Could be perfect for a battleground setup. Alright, I'll pass this on to HQ and I'll get back with you. I suppose we can make use out of your blunder, Vegeta. Vegeta resisted his urge to punch Jocko into oblivion, and Jocko took his leave. He also thought to himself, this wasn't the only wish that he had made. Is it about time for him to tell everyone else what he had done? Well, he again realized that if it was meant to be, it was something that they would find out about in the future. All that he could think about right now was the prospect of returning to Planet Vegeta. After all these years, going back to his own homeland. Now, that was a thought. And having the opportunity to kill Frieza right on the land that he had destroyed decades ago, that did put another smile on his face. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. If you've stuck with this series for this long, maybe you'll like this goofy one where Mr. Torg enters the world of Dragon Ball. Go check that out for me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.